Kandi says is golden. Like, up until she decided to lie on me. But don't try to drag us in some bullshit that didn't happen. But Kandi said she saw it. To be clear, ain't nobody made up nothing to promote a movie because they were saying those things before the movie was even conceived.
Even was texting Toya, who they were saying that she kissed. I videotaped her saying she wasn't and sent it to Toya because I'm like, what the hell? Is this girl lying? Girl.
Oh, Lord. Again.
What's the matter to you? Why don't you worry about getting your case expunged? Focus on them dead hair follicles that you can't get to grow back. Focus on that, bitch. I have a question.
Your Honor?
Do you have anything that you would like to tell her about what people said to you last night?
Wait a damn minute.
You weren't there to hear this? Can you calm down? No, you calm down because you weren't there. So if you can shut up you can hear. What you gonna do about it? Something as horrific as its karma. It shows me that you are heartless, that you care nothing, you have no empathy at all.
You're a victim.
She knows the way, right? Okay, Courtney, I'm done with you. Keep falling and busting your ass and being mean, and then you'll fix it.
What's up, y'all? It's Brian Keith, and I am back with another video. I apologize for the late post. I just got back from vacation with my siblings. We had our annual sibling trip that was amazing. So I needed to have a little bit of time with my siblings to have a really good time. But right now we talk about Real Housewives of Atlanta, and I was thoroughly enjoyed this whole entire episode from start to finish. It was draining, but still it gave me what I needed to give. MVPs of this episode: Courtney, shock, a little bit of Drew, a little bit of Marlo. But y'all, like, comment, and subscribe, and let's get into the video.
Let me check my shit real quick. Hotter than the fire coming out my flaming lips. You wanna play with me? You can't play in me. On the playground, bitch, you can't play with me. Got it, won it, securing the bag.
All right, so at the beginning of the video, we see Kandi. She's leaving Portugal back to ATL because, you know, she has a concert coming up at the end of the week, right? So we basically see, you know, Mayetta goes to check on Kenya, and they're talking about the whole Drew drama, right? So I'm just confused on why would Drew lie when multiple people saw her kiss LaToya, quote unquote, and it's on tape. LaToya said it on tape. She said it multiple times. She said it on Kandi Speak On It as well.
Made that up. That was before we even did the movie. So she said that on this show then, right? LaToya, out her own mouth. You saw they showed the clip of her saying it on the reunion. Even Kenya said it on Speak On It during season 13. She did. So, to be clear, ain't nobody made up nothing to promote a movie because they were saying those things before the movie was even conceived. Mimi said, you know, she didn't say, but she gave insinuation. And it was looking, she gave insinuation that it looked like something happened between Drew and Ty, which I don't blame Drew. Well, on, so that's cute.
Oh, she's taking it.
So my whole situation is like, you want to sit here and say like, oh, that didn't happen, all this. But my whole thing is, there's multiple sources confirming that y'all did kiss, which I don't see what the big deal about it, but girl, go ahead, whatever. So Marlo recorded the situation and then she sent it to LaToya. LaToya sent it back to Drew, which basically that sparked the whole drama that throughout this whole episode. I don't really see the reason why Marlo would send it, quote unquote. At the end of the episode, she's like, well, I want to see if she's lying. But I'm just like, what's the motivation? Because she's just like, it's like, if we all know that Drew is lying, then what do we have to prove? Like, we know she's lying. Okay.
We all know Drew's a liar. So are we shocked that she was telling another lie? No.
Like, we already know. This is just knowledge, right? The next day, Sheree and Drew, they meet up for drinks and they're talking about Kandi, about the whole situation. Drew's mad that, you know, that Marlo recorded and sent it to LaToya and said that, you know, they never kissed, this, that, and the third. So, you know, she's just like, well, you know, with Marlo, we're supposed to be building up, we're friends. You gonna do that to your friend?
Let me be thirsty and record your friend? Like, okay, so we're not friends. So it's very clear to me Marlo not friends. Marlo's apology was fake.
If Marlo apologizes, it doesn't mean that y'all are friends. First of all, Apollo lied. That's one. Two, I could apologize to someone. Doesn't mean I'm cool with you. Doesn't mean I have your back. We apologized. We made amends. We chose to move forward. It don't mean that like we're gonna be cool. That I'm about to be Captain Save-A-Ho for you. No. Right, and this is a show, so one is already gonna be recorded. Two, we still need more content. So Mayetta had her phone up too. So what's the deal? Drew's basically questioning Kandi and Kenya about, you know, y'all think that I kissed Latoya and y'all going home with the story, but we supposed to be friends. So now she questioning their motives. But I'm just like, girl, you really are putting 20 on 10. Because like for real, like especially if Drew actually did kiss Latoya, girl, you really carrying on when you actually did kiss that girl, right? So Drew's just like, you know, usually Kandi is golden. She's always telling the truth, but this time she is lying, and I just don't know why she would do that. This, that, and the third.
Kandi says is golden. Like up until she decided to lie on me, but don't try to drag us in some bullshit that didn't happen. But Kandi says she saw it.
So I'm just like, okay, Drew. So any other time, Kandi's telling the truth, but this time when it pertains to you, she's lying. Do we see how that don't make no motherfucking sense? So any other time, besides this time, any other time, Kandi telling the truth. But this one time, Kandi's lying, you're telling the truth.
Right.
So Drew's like, yeah, you know, Kandi's lying. I don't know why she's lying, this and the third. And Drew feels like, you know, Kandi she's only lying because she wants her to get warmed up for the movie role. Cause you know, Drew's supposed to be like basically getting turned up by a woman.
What's this about? Like, why? What's the purpose of it? She want me to do this movie, so I think she's trying to warm me up to the idea of maybe. Right.
Oh, bye. Get out.
First of all, Drew, you're an actress. So regardless of the role, I feel like you should be able to portray that character because you're an actress. The whole thing is, I'm fine with Drew being mad at Marlo because I mean it's easy, I get it. But I feel like when Kandi go face to face with, when Drew goes face to face with Kandi, she would not have that same energy at all. She would basically like, well, you know, Kandi, just like how she was when she brought it up the first time when they were over here in the room. Like she'd be so soft spoken. Well, you know, Kandi, I just feel like, girl. At the end of the day, that's just what I'll be saying. Like, Drew be scared. She pick and choose who she gonna go up against. First of all, you let Marlo gag you the first time, tell you to shut the F up. But Kandi been carrying, like it's just crazy, right? So, you know, we travel back to Mayetta and Kenya. So Mayetta brings up to Kenya that, you know, the girls, Sheree, Marlo, Sonya, were basically talking to Courtney and just basically trying to get her to switch on Drew. Collusion. And, you know, Mayetta's actually recording as well.
On Courtney talking, we got your back, have our back type of situation. So I was like, oh!
I don't feel like Courtney has your back.
The next day, they meet up. And they're over here getting on the bus for the sound bath. So, you know, we see the setup between Kenya and Courtney. You know, there's a little back and forth going on the bus. But it's like basically like Kenya's like talk about, you know, she don't really trust Courtney. Courtney does it too much. And, you know, she's saying it's on her confessional. So we about to see what's about to happen, right? So Mayetta starts doing her rap. And she was like,
when it comes to my life, y'all know nothing.
and I'm like, exactly, because girl, you're always mute. You don't say nothing. You're steady sitting on hush. And that's why people on Twitter call you Mayetta the mute. Like, so what are we talking about? She's talking about, you don't know nothing about me. Exactly. You don't say nothing. You always stay in the background. And when the girls check you every single time, you always apologizing. So they're basically in the truck. So Kenya's basically trying to tell Drew, like, okay, you need to watch out for Courtney because the girls, you know, they're trying to say this and the third. She's acting different. This and that. That's supposed to be your cousin, girl. And Drew's like, I know. That's supposed to be my cousin. I know. I'm just like, Drew. I don't know. Drew always give me fake, but it is what it is. So, you know, they make it to the sound bath location. They get started. The ladies are over here doing their mantra.
Sheree looking like a Rasta.
Concentrate on your breathing.
I think the mantra was, I am love awareness, something like that. So they do all the reflections, and you know everyone's reflecting, and then we look over to like the left, and Kenya's over here crying.
What I did to deserve it.
I'm really just thinking about Brooklyn and how much I love her.
At the end of the sound bath, she stays back and she talks to like the instructor. She tells her, you know, a lot of stuff came up, you know, and basically she's talking about, you know, thinking about her daughter, how grateful she is to have her daughter in her life, and you know, she is just blessed to have her. And you know, it's a really good moment just to see that, you know, she's appreciative of being blessed with her daughter. So, you know, I appreciate that with Kenya. So, you know, the girls, they start eating lunch, and the lunch looked pretty good. But this is where the mess starts, and the mess get kicked off by Sheree. And Sheree, she's talking about, I'm coming here for healing. I'm coming here for healing. This, that, and the third. But Sheree is always kicking the mess off, right? Okay, keep that in mind. So, you know, Marlo brings up, you know, everyone. She's like, yeah, you know, I text, cause they, you know, have kind of a casual conversation. Marlo's like, you know, I text the video to Toya, and you know, just trying to see if Drew is lying. And first of all, I don't know if y'all caught, but Marlo spelled lying wrong. That's one.
Even was texting Toya, who they were saying that she kissed. I videotaped her saying she wasn't and sent it to Toya because I'm like, what the hell? Is this girl lying? Girl.
Two, Drew's like, at the end of the day, but you're recording people and that's whack. Like, you snake, this and third. And then Marlo's like, okay, but I wasn't the only one. Mayetta was recording too. So that's when Mayetta over here piped up and she's like,
I recorded, Mayetta recorded.
I sure did. But when you guys start saying there's no cameras here, what did I do? I turned off the camera.
I turned my camera off. My whole thing in my head, I'm thinking like, okay, she turned her camera off when they said to turn her camera off, but she still was recording in the beginning with Marlo. Okay. Mayetta's in her confessional like, okay, but what's the big deal? Okay, you talk about what's the big deal, Mayetta, but y'all getting on Marlo for recording. Now, I don't agree with people should be recording people behind their back if it's like a friendship situation because it's just weird.
There were times when someone would say, okay, well, no cameras, but that's when the real comes out. And hell, for all being our authentic selves, like, what's the big deal?
Drew basically goes to Marlo. She's just like, I just want to talk to you because why did you insert yourself? I said, oh. And, you know, Marlo's like, it's fun shade. It's fun shade. I just, because fun shade. I'm like, girl.
I'm trying to figure out why you inserted yourself.
Shade, fun shade. No,
Secretly,
I was not secretly. I was like this.
Understand this, and I'm going to say this right now. Don't you
Now, Drew and Marlo, they going back and forth in the blows. They going back and forth. And I'm just like, okay, you know, this is kind of good. But Marlo, she is funny. But Drew was kind of eating her up with the whole case of shade and the edges. I was like, ooh.
That because you're lying?
What does this matter to you? Why don't you worry about getting your case expunged? Focus on them dead hair follicles that you can't get to grow back. Focus on that, bitch.
Ooh, you got her there. I can't even sit here and hold you. But Drew said something where she's like, okay, but what about your career? And Marlo's like, okay, me and your husband, we're in the same field. He's in technology, so we're in the same field. And Drew's like, you want to bring up my husband? You want to go? You don't want to go there? You don't want to go there because I got a husband. You know what? You know how they do.
What's your career?
Same for your husband.
Oh, now you want to bring my husband, but I have one.
We're both in technology.
You want to talk about my husband?
No, we're both in technology.
You want to
So they basically tabled the conversation because it really wasn't going nowhere. It was just going around in circles, to be honest. And, you know, Sheree, she's trying to be all namaste, loving light, girl. That bull. So after everything got calmed down, Kenya asked Courtney, she's like, okay, so Courtney, do you want to tell Drew what the girls were saying about her the other night?
I have a question.
Your Honor?
Do you have anything that you would like to tell her about what people said to you last night?
And Courtney was like, ready, right? And Courtney was like, I'm accountable for what I said and I hear everything, so that's just what it is. I'm like, oh.
Be accountable for what I said. I can be accountable and transparent about what I did.
So Mayetta said, you know, she feels like she witnessed a collusion. And everybody's just like, collusion? What's going on? So Kenya's like, okay, they were talking about you, Drew, this, that, and the third. They were talking about you. And Courtney pipes up. She's just like, okay, you want to sit up here and say, we talking about her, but how do you know you weren't there? You need to stay in lane. You're talking about stuff that you don't know, that you got information from Mayetta.
You weren't there to hear this? Can you calm down? No, you calm down because you weren't there. So if you can shut up you can hear. What you gonna do about it?
When Kenya tells Courtney to shut up, right? So Courtney's just like, what you gonna do? You need to learn from karma. I'm like, oh. So Kenya's like, I am the moment. Courtney's like, yeah, you're the moment of busting your ass.
Learn from karma. I am the moment. No, you aren't. You are the moment of ass busting. You weren't there. You busted your ass. You were in the hospital.
I ain't gonna hold you. Courtney did her big one. So now Sheree's running to the bathroom, start fake crying. It's just like, this is just crazy. We just need to get along. I'm like, Sheree, you brought it up in the whole group, talk about where are we all at in this group, and now you want to see them a crowd when basically everybody's over here hate each other and try to tear each other head off. What did you think was gonna happen, ma'am? So yeah, Drew grabs everybody's basically dispersed from the table. Drew grabs Courtney and she's like, you need to come with me. So Drew tells her, like, you need to watch out for these people, this and the third, blah, 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 blah. And Courtney not here for none of it. She's just like, okay, you want to talk about Marlo recording, but Mayetta was recording too. Like, I'm not here for none of that.
Why would somebody do that to me? Why would somebody try to set me up and video video too? Stop.
I'm just like, oh. I like Courtney because everybody's like, oh, Courtney's doing too much. Courtney's doing too much. Mind you, Courtney might be doing too much, but at least she's doing something. And she ate Kenya up. I ain't gonna hold you. Who knew? And two, she be having valid points. Now, do I feel like she is kind of biased at times with the whole Marlo, Sheree, and Sonya? Hell yeah. That's just a fact. We can see that. But I'm not mad at somebody trying to get into the mess, and she came out strong, a little too strong in the beginning with Kandi. But then, you know, she grew of me. That's just a fact. Sorry. So now they getting ready for dinner. And I'm just like, another sit down. I know they tired. And you know, yet again, all the girls are getting ready. And Marlo looks bomb. The best dress of the night. Following Kenya and Sheree. So this is where Kenya, Drew, Mayetta, and Sheree, they all get to like this little seating area, waiting for dinner, and their reservations get ready for dinner. And Sheree's acting all like, you know, fake and stuff, play in the middle like she do. She's just like, yeah, you know, how did we get to this place, y'all? We're always arguing. I'm just like, Sheree, you about to piss me off, because you know how y'all got there, because y'all are over here, you pump fake it and you start the mess, and then you want to over here run and cry like you over here just, you know, I'm Buddha. Like, girl, stop. So Kenya talks about the mess between Courtney and Drew, and she's just like, yeah, you know, Courtney is just like this, she doing too much, Courtney's this, Courtney's that, and Drew's over here laughing. But I'm just like, Drew, you want to talk about loyalty, you want to talk about, oh, Courtney's doing this and the third. I haven't heard one moment that Courtney laughed at or talking mess about Drew. Now, I haven't seen Courtney defend Drew, but I definitely haven't seen Courtney talk about Drew to the other girls or laugh at anything. But I've definitely seen Drew do that plenty of times about Courtney. So you want to talk about loyalty, but you aren't loyal to your cousin, who is not even your cousin, right? So Kenya basically like, yeah, you know, Courtney was looking for a reason to fight with me, and that's just what she wants, her moment, blah, 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 blah. But I'm like, Kenya, you gave her the moment because you started with Courtney. So you can't sit up here and say that Courtney wanted to start with you when you brought her into the mess and you gave her the spotlight. That's your fault. I love you, Kenya, but that was your fault. So Marlo's basically in the room with Courtney and Senya, and she's like, you know, y'all, I can't believe it was dark again today in the group. It's just dark again. And I'm just like, Marlo, you can't sit up here and talk about something's dark again when you caused it, ma'am. It was you. Like, you caused it by sending the whole video to LaToya, and like you talking about it's dark again. Girl, like, Marlo, I like you. Don't get me wrong, I do. But you started it. Let's call a spade a spade. We get to the dinner. Everybody's trying to act all nice and nice. Right. So Sanya basically pops off. She just like, well, she didn't pop off, but she basically tells Mayetta,
Marlo, recording it and sending it out. But then Mayetta, I felt like, obviously you had a conversation with Kenya when you went and you brought it back to Kenya the way you did.
Mayetta, she's over here apologizing. Like, you know, I'm sorry if, you know, I used the wrong words. I'm like, girl, you apologize.
We were vibing. The point is we were trying to decide what the truth was, and you were part of that. I apologize not offending anyone by the wording of it. Okay, yeah, absolutely, anytime.
My whole thing is, if you weren't trying to be messy and you stood in what you were saying, what's the reason to apologize? Okay. Marlo and Drew go at it again because, you know, Drew and her just basically hate each other.
That's only fair to this group of ladies to know who is telling the truth. Why don't you worry about you and your legal affairs? Worry about you.
Courtney and Kenya go at it again, and they bring up the whole situation with karma.
And to say something as horrific as it's karma, it shows me that you are heartless.
But, you know, Kenya's like, girl, the way you talk is just so horrific. And Courtney just like, you know, she just seized the moment. And she's just like, Kenya, you're bullshit, and this, that, and the third. And I'm just like, oh. I was just very shocked with Courtney because I didn't think that she really was going to go toe-to-toe like this with Kenya.
No, she knows the way, right? Okay, Courtney, I'm done with you. Keep falling and busting your ass and being mean, and then you'll fix it.
I mean, we saw the build-up from the beginning when Kenya was being very, you know, passive-aggressive. And I wouldn't even say passive-aggressive, just being very dismissive towards Courtney. Like, looking at her teeth in the knife while Courtney's talking. Like, Kenya's not here for Courtney, which is fine. I have no issue with it. But if you gonna give it to Courtney, don't be mad if Courtney give it back to you. Vice versa. They put a pin in it because anybody got time for all the screaming and hollering. They go wine tasting. Ralph texts Marlo and basically said, keep my name out your mother mouth.
Text from Ralph. From Ralph, Drew's husband. Should not probably brought his name up, but I feel that I didn't say anything awful.
And Marlo basically tried to address Drew because she's like, that's your husband, I'm not addressing him. So this between me and you was good. And they basically like, yo, we're not doing this. Put a pin in it because we're going to drink this wine and do the cuff it challenge. And that's it. And that was the end of the episode. Like I said, I really enjoyed this episode. It definitely looks really good. So y'all like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.